So today we're actually going to show and teach you guys how do you take good photos when all you have is your phone.
How do you do it?
How do you do it? Alright guys, so what we're going to do first is we're going to jump straight into our camera settings to make sure we get the best quality for our photos and or video.
First things first, go to your settings in your phone. Copy? Settings. Then in your settings, you're going to see a little search bar and you're going to type in camera. Woo!
Oh, hold on. May have to take a step back.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
So again, that was go to settings and then in the search bar, type in the word camera. Now you're gonna look for the little icon that looks like a camera and you're going to select it. And then you have all of these options pull up. Greg, tell us where to go from there.
All right, so from here, we have the grid. So grid is right here. I'm gonna toggle it on and off so you can see it. So the reason why you want the grid on is it makes it easier to get a better composition when you're taking that photo.
Composition.
And so now we're gonna keep scrolling down and you're gonna see Smart HDR. And so what Smart HDR is, what it does is it takes multiple exposures and puts it into a singular picture so you get like more dynamic range. So this is personal preference. You can turn it on or you can turn it off. Just play with it a little bit. But typically if you have it on, you're gonna get better dynamic range when it comes to your photos. So now that you're in your actual camera, now what we need to do is look at the settings that we have. So at the very top in the center of the screen, you'll see an arrow pointed up. You press it and it's gonna bring up settings down here on the bottom. And so right here you see the 4 with the semicolon and the 3. That's a 4:3. That's your aspect ratio.
Aspect ratio.
So if you want a different aspect ratio, you have different types that are available. 16:9, you'll see that the camera gets wider. You'll have a 4:3, so it's gonna be a little bit smaller, still a little bit of that wide aspect. And then you have a square. You know that from looking through Instagram, you have the square photos. So you don't even have to crop it. You can take it directly through here.
Exposure.
If you autofocus your phone, so just tap on the photo, you're gonna see a little sun come up. You can adjust the settings to go down to make it darker, or if you want it brighter, you can take it up. Another way.
Okay, so now we're gonna actually take a photo with the settings we have, and I'm gonna teach you guys a little bit more about your composition. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a photo without thinking about the composition of it at all.
Bad photo.
We got an okay photo. Composition is key, first lighting, and then composition. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna focus on the composition. And so the easiest way to remember this is called the rule of thirds. So if you're looking at your camera, these grid lines is what's gonna help you. The rule of thirds basically means you want your subject on either the center or one of these intersecting lines. If you're taking a photo of a person, that's where it really helps out a lot more. If you're taking a photo of just this plant, easiest thing to do is either put it in the center, or what I like to do is give it a little bit of negative space. Negative space is the empty space either above, below, to the side of the subject. So what that looks like, if I give it negative space on the above, I'm gonna give it more space above like that. Negative space below like that, doesn't look that great. You can do on the side, on the side. All right, so I got my composition, and then so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give it a little bit more negative space. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, and then I'm going to get my exposure correct, slide that down just a little bit, and then boom.
Nice shot.
Looking at what you already did with the exposure, now it's not super bright like it was before. You got a little bit of a better composition. You got the negative space above. This is a lot better photo than what I took before, and you remember what I took before? What I took before was this photo. So this photo compared to this photo, complete difference. And all I did was give it a little bit of a better composition and a little bit less on the brightness through the exposure. So we can dive a lot more into the composition, but the easiest way to remember is just give it a little bit of negative space above the subject, and so much easier, you got a better photo. So how do we do that with people?
How do we do that with people,
How do we do that
Greg?
with people? Same exact thing, but it really, the angle of the phone is what matters most. So what I like to show, or what I like to teach people when I'm teaching photography is don't be a lazy photographer. Most times when we take photos, we want to stay standing like this, and we don't want to either stand up or go below because it takes more work. Right. So remember, either you get the power stance and you go down and you take that photo.
Wow.
Or you stand on your tippy toes because you might be a little short like both of us. So it's easier if you go on your tippy toes to get up. So when it comes to people, there's 2 different ways you can do this. So this is how we're gonna do it.
Actually, Greg, I think you should let me take the photo of you. I think I should put to practice what you just taught us.
Got it. I'm not usually on the other side of the camera. I'm usually on the back side of the camera.
We love this for him.
We will see if I'm even photogenic to start with.
Let's see if I learned what Greg just taught. First things first, I think we need to get this out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, now that that's done.
I'm gonna go ahead and jump into position.
Got it. Okay. Right there. That looks perfect. Can we like swap places with Maria?
Oh yeah, Maria, you just take the photo.
Yeah, can you take
and
the
then
photo?
We'll pretend like she took it. The Instagram influencers? All right, so we're gonna show you guys some examples of what it looks like in the real world, obviously when you're not in a studio setup, and what you're actually gonna get with some natural sunlight. So let's go ahead and jump to those photos real quick. Well, those are some examples of what photos could look like in the real world out there with some natural lighting. And so just remember, posing can be hard, but the best thing to do is just to have fun. And that is tip number 4. Just have fun with it. Just do whatever you want to do and just make sure it's enjoyable.
Thanks you guys so much for tuning in to Inspire Creative, and we hope you guys
Stay creative.